You know, I've doubted a lot of things in life, but I've never doubted the call of God. It was such a clear call from the Lord. I knew that God was speaking to me, that He wanted me to be His servant. And I had known since I was a child that God had something for me. But on that night, it was such a clear call. I've never doubted the call of God.
Does the man I am today say the words you need to say?
In that moment, in just seconds' time, I seen the different faces of the world. I heard the different languages of the world, and I knew that the call that God was placing on my life was to reach the nations. I knew that it was beyond just one race, but God was calling me to see the world in His eyes and to do everything I could to see the world evangelized. And we've tried to do that through missions, supporting missionaries, but I knew that God was telling me I was going to go someday.
Another breath, a grain of sand, passing quickly through.
I've had a desire for ministry since I was a young girl, and my dream as a young girl was just to become a wife and follow a man of God and do whatever I could in those ways. I didn't really know what that would be. After we married and had children, we've been able to involve them in a lot of different areas of ministry, whether it be preparing a funeral meal for someone, or for inviting someone into our home, or taking them with their instruments to a nursing home to play and to sing. So we love to teach the children to serve, and as a family to serve the Lord together.
I would always have to describe ministry first as ministry to God. People will let you down. They might even disappoint you, but God never does. And my call is to minister to Him. And the heartbeat of God is to bring many sons to glory. He wants to bring sons and daughters to Him. I was pastoring in a small community in southern Missouri, and had met just briefly a doctor who said, "You really need to go to Africa." And weeks had passed from that meeting, and I was in my office just praying one morning, "God, I need you to show me why you're giving me such a burden for Africa. If you want me to go, you got to make the way possible." And the burden became so heavy. I knew God was telling me I had to go. And I said, "Lord, if you're wanting me to go, you've got to make this possible." And in the back of my mind, I'm still seeing this time of vision or dream, whatever it was that I had up in Jambi, and I knew that it was something that was going to be great. And about that time, it was about 9 in the morning, I received a phone call, and it was Dr. Paul Raines on the other end of the line, and he was saying, "Pastor, you're going to Africa. I've got a $2,000 check here, and I've got money that I want you to take to be able to support the work of a powerful man of God in Njambi in Togo in Africa." And it was from that point on that we really developed a great relationship with Dr. Paul. We went, ministered, and it was just a powerful time to see God change so many lives and what God was doing through the national pastor in Africa. CIY is focused on the ministry of the national pastor. As a pastor, for the years that I've been involved with pastoral ministry in the states that, all the different states that I've been in, we've been heavily involved with missions. And each of our missionaries have to raise just such a huge budget to be able to go to the mission field. And they've got to go, they learn the language, it's a process of time. When I began to work with CIY, I met pastors who could speak 5 to 7 different languages, men with master's degrees, men with just tremendous calling and abilities, and already know the culture, they're already there. And I began to realize this is the thing that Paul seen in the book of Acts, where he committed the gospel to faithful men. And that's the ministry of CIY, is ministry through the national pastor. They're there, they're ready. They just need the resources to be able to do the work. Right now, we can travel every month. We could go on a missions trip. And we've had doors open to us in Indonesia, in all through the Middle East, in India, in Africa. And those are the areas that are really feel strongly that we need to go to. That's the area that's the least reached. And in this opportunity, the majority of times we're either preaching crusades so that we're winning people, establishing churches, or we're training pastors. These are men that are beyond qualified as far as their passion to serve the Lord, but many of them haven't had Bible college training. And so this gives us a great opportunity to just give them the Word of God and give them something to take back to their people to be able to minister the gospel.
So at this time, we don't go out as often as we did at one time in our life, but it's wonderful to have the children at home and hearing a report from Dad if he's overseas and how can we pray that day specifically, and praying for him and supporting him in that way, and doing all that we can stateside while we're available here just to teach the children to give of themselves and as a family to give of ourselves to the Lord.
So people began to come to me as soon as we knew that God was dealing with us to go full time in this ministry. People began to come to us and say, how can we help? We'd love to support on a monthly basis. And my immediate reaction was I didn't want to be a strain on the other missionaries that are trying to work for the kingdom. And I don't want to be a strain on pastors. I realize through the years we've always been heavily involved with supporting missionaries. And so this gives people an opportunity, the way that I feel the Lord has directed us, it gives them an opportunity where it doesn't strain everyone's budget, especially the church. The first thing that came to mind was the McDonald's challenge. And if you go to McDonald's and buy a hamburger that you can sit on a shelf and it will sit there and not decay for a year, it's really not that healthy for your body, but we all go to fast foods, or maybe you'd like to call it your Chick-fil-A challenge. Whatever you would choose to take your family to, or you personally for a meal is going to be around $5. And if we had as many people, especially our friends and those that we're contact with, family members that want to be involved with ministry, but they're not able to do just a whole lot. Again, if we had the resources, we could be gone every month doing a crusade or doing a pastoral training. And the opportunities are there for us. We can go as much as we have the support to go.